Oh, hello.
Hello, everybody. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday.
Oh, okay. I'm good.
Are you? Are you sure you're okay?
I'm good.
I'm scared for you, Josh.
Don't be scared
You're
for
just
me.
seasoned out.
I almost hit the end stream button here for all of you listening. I almost hit the old end stream button, and that would have been bad. We would have had to reboot the stream back up because we're live on Twitch right now.
Like a real dummy head.
Yeah, it would have looked like a stupid head. Stupid poopy head.
Yeah. I think that's what your daughter would say, right?
I don't think so. She's 10.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what kind of insults 10-year-olds say these days.
Basically, it's just your face. everything's just your face. Like, oh,
Sick.
yeah, that's like the sickest 10-year-old burn
Yeah.
is your face. So it's like, okay,
Nice.
yeah, my face. You got it.
My face.
Well, I hope everybody's
lovely
doing
face.
very, very well today, and I hope you're doing well tomorrow if you're listening to this on SoundCloud. But for those of you that'll be watching this on the YouTube, hope you're having a great day. We're having a good day.
There's YouTube.
It was a little hectic today. I had a guy come over and we were doing some magical trades, so kind of set me behind a little bit, but I'll get there. I went up and got Richie and I pizza from the local Jonah's market. You know, shout out to Jonah's. And I also got us some in celebration today, Richie. It's our 5th podcast together. We made it to 5 episodes.
I can't believe we've sat with dealt with each other for 5 episodes.
You shut your mouth. It's been good. It's been easy. You thought like, it's gonna be a lot of work. I mean, it's a little bit of work, right, to do a podcast?
Yeah, it's not that bad.
No, it's really not that bad. We
It's
just
worth
get
part
to
of having to listen to you.
Yes. Well, you know, you guys got to listen to me quite a bit because I like to fucking talk,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why we made a podcast. So, for all of those of you watching and listening, Richie and I are going to do a shot. So, cheers to you guys.
Especially to our fellow basement worker Caleb.
Yes, Caleb. He had a pretty interesting weekend this weekend in Pittsburgh, and we'll tell you about that a little bit later. But I did send him a baby emoji of it just spitting up, and it was just on repeat. It was on loop. So
It was great.
I'm guessing he couldn't really stare at that for more than a few seconds.
He got a good chuckle out of it once he came to.
Good. So I got us some Fireball, some cinnamon whiskey. It's white trash approved. And cheers to you, bub. And cheers to the stream. And cheers to you guys listening on SoundCloud. Yeah, I wanted to watch Richie's face. He was
I
like,
love Fireball.
ooh, really?
Yeah. It's actually like one of my favorites.
I just said it's white trash approved.
I agree.
Ooh, my face is all warm. Delicious. Cinnamon
Needed
whiskey.
that to be in your basement.
Oh, that was good.
It's a little chilly down here.
Yeah, it is. It's pretty cold down here. It is 95 degrees outside, you guys.
But it's like
95.
negative 12 down here.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I walked outside to move my car, and literally my glasses fogged up. I'm like, what's going on?
Yeah, it's great. I had my I got my new socks on that my wife got me. She got me. Did you see them?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've seen them
You seen them?
before you had them on.
Yeah, they're great. They're Golden Girls socks. You know, I wore the Golden Girls T-shirt last week, and my bump in the nights, those are Golden Girls. Yeah, I'm just a big fan. Big fan of the old
You're
ladies.
a big golden girl?
I am. I'm a big Golden Girl. All right,
You
so
know what
let's.
I'm a big fan of?
What?
Stone Rain.
Why do you do that to me every time?
Because
You always
gotta-
get me. You're always like a step ahead. I'm like, what? What were you going to say, Richie? I was going to interrupt you. And you're already on it.
I got you.
Boom.
So, as you guys know, we like to always start off the podcast with a little fact.
Fun
a little
fact.
fun fact.
Ding, 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 ding,
A
ding.
facto fun. Alright, that's enough puns.
Enough
So,
puns.
our fun fact today has to do with Stone Rain. And no, it's not that it's the card that's caused the most salt in Magic the Gathering's history.
It is.
Although that is probably a fact.
Did you think about that one before you came on?
I didn't. I actually just thought of it. 'cause I'm a
God,
genius.
that is really good, man. We're gonna be so good at this podcast.
We're gonna
you
go
think?
somewhere one day.
We are.
I don't know where. It might be hell, but we'll go somewhere.
All right, tell us more about Stone Rain.
Yeah, so Stone Rain, it is the card that has, we really can't figure out a better way to phrase this. It's the card with the most different artworks.
Yeah.
It has a total of 11 different arts.
Okay, so what do we write on the board? So we try to come up with, we work together, all day. And so we talk about things for the podcast. And we said, okay, what's our fun fact for next week? And we wrote on the board, which card has the most different artworks? That was it. That was our, and we thought that was cool because, you see a lot of things like Richie and I talked about it earlier. We thought, okay, Counterspell, Disenchant. What were some of the other ones?
Giant Growth, Naturalize.
Yes.
Just cards that have been around for a while.
Yeah, that just get reprinted into the ground.
But oddly enough, this is a card we haven't really seen in a while. I think Kamigawa was the last printing.
Yeah, they're just not. I don't know why they just don't want to print 3-drop land destruction cards.
Yeah, it's not really like what they want standard to be, and I can kind of understand it. Like, look at the Ponza deck in Modern. It's kind of frustrating to play against. Like, if you lose to it, you typically don't lose by playing Magic.
Yeah, and they're printing dorks again, which they said we're not going to print dorks one drop dorks, and then
one drop dork into 3-mana Stone Rain is brutal.
Yeah, so if you're
especially for a standard deck.
Yeah, if you're playing standard and somebody goes Land of War Elves, turn 2 Stone Rain you're just, I mean, the salt is just a dripping.
The table's getting flipped.
Yeah, the table's getting flipped.
Where you gonna yeet a table?
So now, Richie, what's your favorite Stone Rain art?
It's actually this one from Kamigawa. I really enjoy a lot of the Kamigawa artwork, as much as I know a lot of people don't. And I just enjoy the, Eastern side of themes on cards.
Eastern as in, like, Eastern...
As in, like, China, Asia, Japan.
Okay. All right. The Far East.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay. Cool. Mine, like I was telling you before we got going here, is I thought I liked the Portal version, which was, again, the stones coming down on the city. But I don't think that
this one gets used too much.
Yeah, I don't think that one is my favorite. I think that the Mirage one's pretty iconic too, with just like the boulders, because a lot of people like that one, and it's black border. But my favorite has got to be the Tempest one, I think.
Gotta love that purple.
Yeah, it's got blue and purple, and it's really pretty. So, shout out to our fellow Lost member, Christopher Rush. He does that one. Who does yours?
Well, let's find out, shall we? Click Kamigawa.
Greg Staples. I know that guy.
Does he have any staples in him?
No. I think he's just more of a paperclip kind of guy.
Oh, well.
Yeah. All right, well, good.
We should be Greg.
We got our fun fact out of the way. That was great. So,
yeah, that was fun.
Let's go ahead and talk about our weekend, because I had a really good weekend.
Worked for momsbasementgames.tcgplayerpro.com.
I did work for them, actually. I did.
How do you like working for them?
I like, I'm a big fan of Mom's Basement Games. They're good people.
Yeah, they're all right.
I wish I could get a raise though. That's for goddamn sure. Oh,
boss head must be a real dickhead.
Yeah, the boss is kind of a jerk, I guess. Yeah, so we were both in Pittsburgh this weekend, Richie.
Yeah, even though someone said they weren't going to be.
I wasn't going to go.
Terrence is going to be really mad if he finds out you were there.
Oh, man. We're trying to go one podcast without talking about Terrence, and you already spoiled it.
You got to talk about the Fishmaster.
You're right. But yeah, so Friday, you guys left what? What time did you guys leave for Pittsburgh?
We left. We were gonna leave around 11, but my friend Alex got delayed, so we didn't end up leaving till about noon. We got there around like 6ish because we stopped, had some T-Bell, we were chatting it up. Yeah. Ended up being there for like about an hour. So
okay, so those of you that don't know about the podcast, and maybe this is your first time taking a look at it or listening to it. Last week we talked about Pittsburgh, and it was an SCG Modern Team event. And so Richie actually went and played in it. He played with a fellow basement member, Mr. Stephen A. Bear. And who was your third? It was Gavin Kokenauer?
It was a young Gavin Kokenauer.
Good.
Who played with his heart instead of his head.
Yes, he took the old Jund with him, and he had sad times.
Yeah,
had by all.
It was bad times in the Shire for.
Yeah, absolutely. So now, before we get into the Magic talk about it, you guys did get to go to Siena Mercado.
Yeah.
Mercado, which we talked about. And
we got some really weird looks when...
Yes, I recommended Dave's Balls. Now, I went there a few years ago, back when I was floor trading, and they have a dish there, which I highly recommend if anybody that is in Pittsburgh. Place is called Siena Mercado, and what it
was phenomenal.
It is a... they have just... meatballs. It's like a specialty meatball place, right? And so, but you can make your own meatballs. And so, they have pork. I believe they have just basically all kinds of meat. Chicken. They
beef.
Have beef.
They have some vegetarian balls.
Yeah. They got all kinds of balls, right? And so that's their thing. And so you get to choose, like, okay, what do you want to go with those things? Well, they have tater tots, and it's literally not even fair. You just jam some tater tots on the bottom of your bowl, cover it with cheese, throw some pork on there. Oh man, and some bacon. It's just the best ever.
Yeah, I actually The thing that I think I like the most, and you got to try it next time you go there, is they have this buffalo crab dip.
Oh, an appetizer?
Yeah.
What? I love buffalo.
And like they give you chips, but it's enough for like 2 servings of chips. It's so good, dude.
Delicious.
I'm a big crab and I'm a big buffalo guy, so
yeah,
it got me going.
Yeah, it gets the people going.
It gets the people going.
Hell yeah, good. So then you guys went there Saturday after the event?
Yeah, we went there after day 1.
Okay, cool. Did you guys? And I know Sunday you went and got some tacos, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't remember the tacos place's name exactly.
Yeah.
But it's literally like if you walk like maybe a block and a half from like where you walk into the convention center, if you walk towards the parking, not towards like the dead end road, you'll run into it. And it literally had the best queso I've ever had in my life.
That's amazing.
It was so good. And they also I recommend they had this frozen banana margarita. Boy, let me
Can
tell
I use
you.
the same joke that I used earlier? You like some bananas?
I do. You're right.
You're right.
There's nothing wrong with bananas.
You're not wrong. Good. So, now, before we get started here, we want to transition, obviously, but we always want to let you guys know that we are sponsored by Mom's Basement Games, and you could find us all the singles that you need, and, I don't know, playmats now? I think we have playmats now.
On the TCG?
Yeah, my brother's got them going.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know. I thought we weren't able to put them on TCG.
We are. So if you guys need...
Look at him getting to work.
Yeah, I know. And there's even a bulk listing there, so you guys could buy bulk from us now. It's crazy, man.
You can buy bulk from the people who buy bulk.
Which is mind blowing.
Galaxy brain.
So check us out. It's momsbasementgames.tcgplayerpro.com, and we appreciate all your guys' just helping us out. You know, keeping the thing going,
keeping me fed.
Yeah, we gotta feed the people.
Much like Bershevik.
Yeah,
he fed the people.
Oh, Bershevik fed the kids this weekend.
Yeah.
So
kids got good dinner that night.
They did. All right, so tell us about the top 8, Richie.
Yeah, so this was a modern event, and Bershevich. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name.
There's no K in there. Bershevich.
He won the whole thing with a deck that a lot of people were expecting to be good, but, nobody was really sure, because do you really want to play a tapped Celestial Colonnade on 1 in Modern right now?
I'm scared too.
This guy is.
Bershevich is not. He's like, listen, you see that little cup over there? That cup's mine.
His kid's going to be drinking out of that cup.
Oh, absolutely. Guaranteed. I hope so. I hope he was just memeing pictures on Twitter with that.
Of her just like holding it up.
Yeah, of her just walking around like, using it as a sippy cup.
I need more juice.
Yeah, I need more juice, Dad. But yeah, he played Blue White Control?
Blue White Control, yeah.
I still think that's the best deck right now.
It's definitely very good. I'm a fan of Hogak.
You just get turn 1 like Spell Pierce mana, and you get turn 2.
But you can't Spell Pierce off your Celestial Colonnade.
Sure. What if you don't draw Celestial Colonnade all day like Bershevich did?
Well, I bet he drew Colonnade a lot.
Yeah, but he might not have played tap lands on turn 1 a whole lot.
That's fair. We can find out what he played though.
We can. But so who was in the top 8 that you know?
Yeah,
because I only know 2 names here. I know Tom Ross and I know.
Sam Cook.
I've heard of Sam Cook. Those are the 2, and maybe Daniel Wong. I think I've seen his name.
I've heard Wong before.
Yeah, but it could be a different Wong. I don't know.
We also could be Wong.
Yeah, we could be definitely Wong. Oh, that's a good one.
But yeah, so as many people in my friend group know, Tom Ross is probably my favorite Magic player.
Okay.
And I was really sad to not see him at the team event, but to see him top 8 this Open or this GP is really cool.
Yeah.
Especially we were playing the exact same main deck for Hogak.
You and
we had the same 60. Our sideboards were a little different, but
well, yeah, because he's the boss.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So now, going into this, getting ready for you guys to let you guys know what were in the decks. Now, the thing is that in order to get the list, if you guys want to see the list, they're on Twitter. for the top 8 for this Channel Fireball event. And this event was held in Dallas, right?
Yeah, Dallas Fort Worth.
Yeah. So if you guys are interested in where this happened at and how you look the lists up to see what's going on with the meta, because the meta is very shook right now by Hogak. You guys are going to want to go to Channel Fireball's Twitter, which is just at Channel Fireball, and you'll see all the lists there. And so we're going to run through them for you guys that are listening. And so Tom Ross, he played Hogak, like Richie just said. Christopher Homan played Humans. Humans. Yeah, I really like that. It's got such a good ring.
I know. I wish that guy would have won just so we can keep saying it.
Yeah, so we could say Homan's Humans over and over. It's so smooth. Taking Turns by Mr. Daniel Wong. Thopter Sword by Justin Porches. Porches? It's his Porches. He's got the apostrophe there. Anthony Petropoulos. That guy sounds really Greek. Yeah, I like that. That's
I'm bad
good.
with languages. So.
He was playing Blue-White Control. And then we've got Sam Cook, which was on Eldrazi-tron, which I heard was a very tough matchup for. This is what I heard. This is one of the guys that top 8 at the SCG. He's on my Facebook feed, and he was talking that he played Eldrazi-tron, and he was just dunking on Hogak all day. So that was very interesting to hear what he had to say, and that's why I asked you about it earlier today, about what you think about it. So you can tell everybody in just a second here. Paul Collier, he was playing Hogak. And then you had Austin Bershevitz, which was playing Blue-White Control.
Who won the whole tournament.
Yes, and he won the entire thing. So let's start with clicking on him and letting everybody know what his 75 looked like. And you could tell us what you think about this, Richie.
Yeah, so this is pretty much the stock Blue-White Control deck for the most part that you'll be seeing in Modern now. You got your typical land base with like Field of Ruins, a couple Hallowed Fountains, a lot of basics. You can't go anywhere without your snaps, your cryptics. He was on a click main, which is hit or miss. There's normally 1 to 2 clicks somewhere in the 75.
Yep.
He's opting for 2. Then you just see your traditional 2 Force of Negation has become pretty stock right now because it's a good way to protect your Jaces on 2. Narset has been huge. Narset and Teferi. The Mana Leak is sometimes a Mana Leak, sometimes a Logic Knot.
Ooh, babe. Well, he's got one Logic. He's got a split.
Oh, he does have the Logic Knot in there.
Which is very cute. I like that.
It's interesting for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Your ops are pretty common. Some people can debate that it should maybe be Serum Visions if you're not playing Terminus, but I don't really like tapping out in my Blue-White Control deck.
Correct.
You got your 4 paths, best removal spell, obviously. A 1 of Spell Snare, because goddamn that card is good.
Yeah, you just play 1 of. You don't need to play more.
I think you can maybe play 2.
No.
This meta's really 2-drop dependent, Josh.
I don't ever in any meta for the rest of my life like 2 Spell Snare. I used to play Blue-White a lot. I don't anymore. Maybe you're right.
That's why you don't like Spell Snare.
Yeah.
So 2 Surgicals, which has been pretty common as a way to compete with the Graveyard decks in Game 1.
Yep.
A Supreme Verdict, Wrath of God split. Normally there's a 3rd sweep. Oh, there is. There's another Supreme Verdict over there. Mm-hmm. Man, I really don't like how Wizards laid out. Oh, wait, no, that's a Detention Sphere. My bad.
Yeah, it's a Detention Sphere.
And then a 1 of Timely, which is typically where the other sweeper comes, I think. So maybe a hedge toward he was expecting more burn.
Well, you got to remember too, though, Timely Reinforcements actually will buy you a turn.
Yeah.
And it's even against those lists that are really fast, like the Hogak list. Like maybe it buys you that extra turn that you need to get over the hump. And maybe they didn't draw their card that just mills you out. Or maybe you.
If they did, maybe you
Mana Leaked it. Yeah, maybe you Spell Snared it, right? So, yeah. So what do you think about the sideboard? What do you think about that Baneslayer right there? Because that makes me hot.
It's pretty common now.
I know, but it still makes me
I'm
hot.
actually more surprised that he's not playing. I haven't noticed the mentor change recently. They've been going to 1 to 2 mentors in the sideboard.
Okay.
Before it was pretty common to play 1 to 2 restos, because they have value with the Baneslayer is typically a Lyra. In that case, it's the same card.
Okay. What about the Dovin's Veto? I've been seeing a lot of that in the main board.
Yeah.
And now he's
it's
just
a
running.
meta call.
Okay, he's just running one in the sideboard.
Like, Dovin's Veto's not great in Modern right now because everybody's just trying to kill super fast.
Okay.
You can't really afford a 2-mana conditional counter spell.
Yeah, exactly.
And obviously you have to have the 4 rips in your board now. As well as, he has the 3rd Sweeper in the sideboard, which is fair. The one of Stony is kind of random to me. I don't know how I feel about just a single Stony silence. I haven't been huge on Stony in Modern for a while now.
Okay. I gotcha. I love those Celestial Purges, though, man.
I always... To purge in any control deck.
Yes. It's
card's
so
just
good.
too good.
All right, so let's look at Paul Collier's Hogak list.
Yeah, so his was actually pretty interesting. So, for a lot of the Hogak stuff you're going to see is pretty stock here.
He's running 3 Bomat Couriers on the side.
I was going to get there.
Sorry. I'm so excited.
One interesting thing he did is he actually trimmed a Gravecrawler, which a lot of people consider to be one of the better cards in the deck, which you can normally trim sideboard, but I don't know how I feel about trimming it main deck. He wanted to fit what looks like to
be... Feeders?
No, the Carrion Feeders are pretty stock. I think he fit an extra... Yeah, he put in an extra land.
Okay.
He's on 19 lands. Typically, if people want to play the 19th land, they go down to only 1 removal spell.
Yeah,
but he opted to trim a Gravecrawler. Otherwise, this is pretty much the stock Hogak list.
Okay.
Other than a lot of people are doing 1 Axe, 1 Dark Blast, but he has the Dark Blast in the side instead. Maybe a hedge short expecting more Thing in the Ices in the meta.
More titties. Yeah, now, the one thing that I wanted to let people know that maybe you guys aren't up on the Hogak train. You know, maybe you don't know, you haven't been watching Modern a whole lot lately, but this, you know, for you to just be like, oh, this is a stock list, but sometimes people they might be like, what the hell is Hogak? You know? There's some people that are, you know, could even be new to Modern, but the Hogak list is just, it's really, really, really already traditional because they've broken it. Like, they've refined the deck to basically like exactly what you need, the exact 75. Now, the only thing crazy here, I think, is Collier's sideboard.
Yeah, the Thalias have been picking up more than you'd expect.
Okay, because I have
for
not.
The white sideboard.
Yeah, I have not seen the Thalia Guardian of Thraben in the.
It's been getting picked up from a challenge about a week ago now.
Okay, that's very cool.
The Bomats are pretty interesting. There was some interesting tech in some SCG lists as well that people have been playing, but Bomat's interesting. I liked it before. I was going to try it over Cathartic Reunion, but I never really got to testing it. And I just don't know how I feel about it in the new deck. I don't really know when you're going to want Bomat.
You want Bomat all the time on turn 1.
Well,
so I play this guy in Legacy, right? And basically what he does is if you're dumping your hand, if you have an outlet to get rid of your hand, which this deck kind of sort of does.
It does. You get empty-handed pretty easily.
Yeah, so you're hell-bent pretty fast. And, you know, if you have Bomat Courier and you crack them on turn 3 or turn 4, you're loading your hand back up. It's beautiful. And that's what I love about it.
Yeah, but this deck's really mana-intensive. That's my only problem with it.
Okay. So it's tough, you think, to pay that 1 mana to crack him?
Yeah, I really do.
Okay. All right, cool. So let's look at the next list here, which is the Eldrazi-tron list. Now, let me tell you guys about the gentleman that did well this weekend. He top-8'd. He's on my Facebook. I think Lance Nines, right? Lance Nines. I used to deal with him on the floor a lot. He's a good guy, but he top-8'd with his team at the SCG Pittsburgh with Eldrazi-tron, and he said this deck was just great against Hogak all weekend. And Richie, you kind of had like a different spin on because you are the Tron master, and so you have a different spin on how you feel this deck performs against Hogak. Now tell us about that.
Yeah, so I haven't really tested it, but in my opinion, I don't see it lining up very well, just because your creatures are pretty like average size compared to theirs.
Mm-hmm. That's what she
Karn
said.
does stop the combo, which is pretty nice, but he's 4 mana. And you can't really ramp him out unless you get Tron. Chalice of the Void is a haymaker against the deck, I'll admit. But you can only play it on turn 2, so you really gotta hope to win the die roll. I think it's a fine choice, and it was something I was actually even considering for the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I can't put myself to play Tron lands in a turn 3 meta.
Okay. Just feels kind of bad.
Yeah, it just doesn't feel like where I want to be.
Okay. So what do you think about this sideboard here? I really like this Emrakul the Promise End. Now this is something that I think fell out of favor a little bit in the Tron list for a little while, correct?
I think it's too cute in a deck like this. I love it in the traditional Tron deck.
Okay. Traditional meaning just green.
Yeah, like where you're not the Eldrazi's.
Okay.
Here, like, you don't really have any way to find it, so you kind of just have to hope to get lucky and draw it. You can't tutor it up with Karn. I prefer having a little deeper of a wish board. And it just seems kind of random to me. Okay. I know a lot of people have been doing it, though.
What about this Sovereign's flagship here?
It's something I've wanted to test, but again, there's just so many, time in the day, and I want to, try to feel things out.
Yeah.
It's very good if you expect a lot of mid-range decks, or if you need a way to... It's like a second creature against control decks also.
Okay.
Because you use your creature to animate it, and they have to decide if they want to kill your creatures that are animating it or the flagship. If they kill the flagship, you have extra creatures in play.
Yeah. So it's a bonus creature.
Yeah.
Cool.
One interesting thing is he's playing Warping Wail in the main over Relic, and he's also not playing any Mind Stones.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I'm a fan of Mind Stone. I always felt like I wanted extra mana in this deck, and I really am scared to not play Relic in a graveyard meta like this. But
yeah, absolutely.
Warping Wail is a solid card.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy that he top-8'd with this thing with such few graveyard hate cards. I think that's really...
well, that's not the full sideboard. Channel Fireball's been having some issues, I guess, lately.
Okay.
There should be 4 Leyline of the Voids in a sideboard, and a Surgical.
Okay.
It's missing 5 cards, so...
Excellent. So then he had 4 ley lines, 1 Surgical, and 1 Grafdigger's Cage for his graveyard hate.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Or no, I'm sorry, it was a Tormod's Crypt, not a Surgical.
Tormod's, okay, nice. All right, so Anthony Petropoulos, he played another blue-white version here, and so it's basically the same 75. I don't really see much difference here.
Yeah, second Mentor on the sideboard's about all that's different.
Yeah. So we'll skip that one, and we'll check out this Thopter Sword list, which is really cool.
Yeah, so this is something that another fellow Michigan player who I've been talking to a lot lately, Ray Perez.
Mr. Perez?
He's actually really big on this deck. It's a little different than his 75, I think, but the deck is very powerful, and Ray actually thinks it has a great Hogak matchup, which from what I've seen and also experienced, I think might be true.
Okay, because of the Ensnaring Bridge, and then also the Thopter combo, with also being able to just play Psy Master and then make some dudes to block until you can kind of get there.
So it's the fact that you do have these random prison wins, but you also just Urza goes infinite really easily, and that's you can just race them.
Okay.
Because you are a Mox Opal deck.
Sure. Now, why isn't this list... Now, the list I played against on... little shout out to myself. I played this past Friday. I played Boreo's Vengeance.
Yeah, you did great, right?
I did really good. I went 0-5. I didn't win a match. So it was a good time, though. I always have a good time when I play. And so I lost all my rounds, but I played against an Urza Lord High Artificer deck first round. And I was just stunned at how fast it was. Mm-hmm. But they were playing the Karn Lockout, Karn Mycosynth Lattice combo.
I don't think that's needed in this deck.
Yeah, I'm just saying. But so that's the deck that I played against on Friday, which is at Mom's Basement Streams on Twitch. If you guys ever want to come check it out.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so what do you think about this sideboard?
Yeah, so Ray was on more Dread of Winners, and he wasn't sure about the card. Ray actually said he hated Leyline of the Void in this sideboard.
Yeah, he borrowed mine.
Yeah, he borrowed them from you. And he literally gave them to me before he played his last round and just had a judge deactivate them because he said he doesn't even want them in graveyard matchups.
Wow.
Because he just feels he can go faster.
Yeah.
And the 1 to 2 of graveyard, I think he said he was on 2 or 3 graveyard hate main. was enough for him. That he just needed to buy like a turn, if that.
Now, cards like Lightning Bolt, Galv Blast, those kind of cards buy you that extra turn, right?
Not so much against the graveyard decks.
Okay. What do you think buys you that extra turn?
The graveyard hit you have in your main, like the Nile Spellbomb. I believe he said he played a Tormod script also.
Okay.
And like things like that are what buy you a time in that matchup.
What about Pithing Needle? Does that help out in that matchup?
Yeah, if they're gonna mill you out, it does. Otherwise, not really.
Okay.
But if they're not gonna mill you out, you can just go get Bridge.
Yeah. Cool. All right, so let's check out some of the other lists here. Taking turns now.
Yeah.
Take a look at this. It's like I played against the top 8 almost on Friday. So I played against Taking Turns also. And I got dunked on, obviously, because I was 0-5. But this card, this deck is just absolutely still a deck. Now, for those of you that think like, oh man, Taking Turns, that's a shitter of a deck. That thing's got no business being in Modern still. Well, think again, because this deck is still a thing, and it's still very solid, I think. It just needs a really good pilot behind it. I got exhausted quite a few times, and by exhausted meaning exhaustion, the card that says, what does it say? Creatures and lands target opponent controls don't untap during their next untap step. So it was exhaustion, Snapcaster exhaustion. It was tough. And they were also miracling temporal masteries.
Yeah.
So when you get, when it's like turn 2 and I see the temporal mastery flip off the top with no deck manipulation with the opt, that's sad times, You're not having a good time.
No, it's actually really funny. I was talking to a friend on the way here, or not on the way here, on the way home from Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
And I mentioned a blue-white Taking Turns deck that Brian DeMars had wrote an article on Channel Fireball about from Zach Allen, and I recommended it to him, but I'm going to have to send him this list because...
This one's blue-red.
Yeah, it seems pretty good, and I actually really like the Lightning Bolts.
Yeah.
I think it's a good way to even just like close out a game faster if you need to.
Yep.
Like
once you have a Snapcaster Bolt.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun. Now the cool thing about the sideboard here that I like, and I haven't looked at any of these lists yet, but was Commandeer. Love that card, man.
Yeah, it's also missing 3 cards, so I'm curious on what those cards were.
Yeah, but Commandeer is such a cool card. And
he actually had one in the main too.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
With the exhaustions.
Yeah, Commandeer is just a it's what, pitch 2 blue cards, steal a permanent?
Steal a spell on the stack.
Steal a spell on the stack, okay.
So they cast their Karn, you pitch 2 spells, Commandeer their Karn.
Okay. I was thinking it was permanent.
No.
Yeah, Commandeer's strong, man. That card's just not used anymore.
Steep casting cost though.
Very steep. It's 7 CMC, right?
Well, it's 7 CMC or
or
a 3 for 1.
Yeah, 3 for 1 yourself. Hopefully it's a good 3 for 1, right?
Hopefully.
Okay, so Homons Humans. Now let's take a look at this list. This, of course, now this is the thing that's so crazy and why we keep talking about Hogak and how skewed it is, and we're just waiting until next week. Next Monday is actually it's a BNR announcement. So BNR announcements are banned and restricted. Banned and restricted. That's what that stands for. And so now when Humans itself, this just goes to show you, when Humans has to play 4 Leyline of the Voids, 4 cards in their sideboard that they cannot cast, there's an issue with the meta. Correct?
Yeah, everyone's like, oh, look, Hogak can be beat. Like, it's not the point that the deck can be beat.
Yes.
It's the point of it warps the format, and it really, so I enjoy the style of deck that the deck provides, but I'm also willing to admit that it's not a healthy play style to have.
Correct, because you played it this weekend.
Yeah. And
you audibled because you were going to play Blue-Red Phoenix because you've tested that the past 2 weeks, streaming for Mom's Basement streams, the past 2 weeks, right?
I tested it the week before. I was playing Mono Red the other week.
Okay, yeah.
Trying to figure out what felt good, but
yeah, and it just was, and you're just like, okay, well, if I can't beat them, join them.
Yeah.
Right?
I played 3 leagues off stream with Hogak, and 4-1 2 of them, and went 3-2 in the other one.
Yep.
Which, like, one of those losses was to Neo Brand, so, like, whatever.
Yeah. Them just like, oops, I won.
Yeah, I got thudded.
Ooh.
I got Gristle branded, Reckless Charged, thudded. Was how I died.
That must have been exciting.
I wanted to off myself.
That was exciting. So yeah, I guess basically the whole thing here is that we're ready. All of us are ready. Even people, it's like what Richie said. Even people that are saying, well, Hogak's so strong, it's so cool, I want to build the deck, but hey, it's not healthy. It's not healthy for the format. It's not healthy for other Magic players that feel like, I want to play my humans deck, and still have those 4 extra slots of where I don't have to play Leyline in my sideboard that help me in my other matchups. And so when you're not able to do that, you start losing some consistency, and you have to get, let's say you don't play against Hogak throughout the day. Those Leylines are just fucking dead cards. You can't put Leylines in against any other deck.
You can, but...
It's not, well, sure.
But I mean, like, put them in against Dredge, you probably bring them in against Phoenix.
Yeah, sure. There's maybe a couple decks where it's going to help you, but it's not going to be great. So, I mean, that's kind of the point I'm getting at here. So, we'll be happy to hear what happens next week. The other thing, too, in the sideboard here that I don't think I've ever seen before is Homan was playing 3 Chalice of the Voids in the sideboard. Now, tell us why, Richie.
So, it's been seen from time to time. Like, it's not like a, oh
like
my
a
god.
2 of, maybe, or a 1 of?
It's actually on like a 4 of if people are going to do it.
Okay.
But he was probably just, like, struggled on slots because of the Leyline of the Voids.
Sure.
When you expect a lot of Phoenix in the meta, it's very good. It's just, like, an extra disruption piece for their deck. So they become almost like a legacy tribal deck, where, like, you play your Chalice of the Voids because your Cavern of Souls don't stop your 1-drops. And you just get to continue on curving.
Yep. Yeah, because you can just cast your 1-drops through Cavern of Souls.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's just an alternate thing that says, hey, my stuff does not get countered. Now, that doesn't help you, of course, with Aether Vials.
No, you play your Vial on 1.
Correct. You play your Vial on 1. Hopefully you play your Vial on 1. And then you play your Chalice on 2. Mm-hmm. So cool. Looks pretty solid, right? Looks pretty regular.
It's interesting that he didn't play any Auriok Champions. A lot of people have been big on that card lately because it's very good against Hogak if they don't have the mill you out plan.
Yeah, the black-red guy that has protection.
Yeah. It's very unique that he's playing 2 Plague Engineers, but I like that card a lot. I don't like that it's not a human, but I do like that, unlike the original Plague Engineer for Legacy, Engineered Plague, it's only your opponents.
Okay.
So it can name human in the human's mirror and not have it wrath your board also.
Yeah, that's excellent. Cool. All right, so let's look at Tom Ross, the boss's list. Now, again, it's another Hogak list, but Tom Ross is, probably one of your favorite Magic players, you said, right?
Yeah, it's between, like, him and Jerry Thompson, I think, are, like, up there from, like, my 2 favorites.
Okay, so then we got to click on his list. Because he's your main man. So tell us about his list.
Yeah, so we played we played 59 of the same 60 cards in the main. The only difference is I played 7 fetches and played a 4th Blood Crypt because I wanted the extra fetchable lands for Bloodghast.
Okay.
His sideboard was a bit different. I was on Collective Brutalities instead of Fatal Pushes because I wanted the extra discard outlet.
Yep.
Instead of Ingot Chewers and one of the Nature's Claim, I had 3 Assassin's Trophies.
Okay, so he was playing 2 Ingot Chewers.
Just like a more versatile interaction. And then instead of one of the Thoughtseizes, because I had the Brutalities in the board, I played one of Bantu's Last Reckoning. I was always a big fan of that card when I played the deck before Hogak and everything got printed.
Okay.
Because the good answer to, like, the creature decks like humans, which are actually kind of a hard matchup. And I wanted to fit 2, but I couldn't because I needed the 5 pieces of interaction for artifacts and enchantments.
Yeah.
But the card is very good. It's debatable if it should be that or Blasphemous Act.
Yeah, Blasphemous Act is cute.
I really feel like you want some type of sweeper in the 75.
Yep. I'd have to agree with that. Cool. So we round out the top 8. And again, the thing that won it all was not the Boogeyman this week. It was in Dallas. It was Blue-White Control. But, of course, you see multiple copies of Hogak in that top 8. So we're definitely thinking, it's probably going to be a ban coming.
Yeah.
We think so.
I expect a ban next week.
Yeah, so now, as for Channel Fireball, we had, like you guys have heard us been talking about the whole time, is SCG Pittsburgh, and that was the team event. And who won it all was Jeremy...
Jonathan Hobbs,
Dominic Harvey, and Jeremy Bartani?
Yeah. Jonathan Hobbs is a great guy. I've talked to him at like multiple events.
Yeah, had interactions with him.
Yeah.
Cool.
And I'm really glad to see. He's normally on some spicy decks. Wasn't on quite as spicy as he normally is. He normally likes to play some kind of Bant deck.
Okay. And so he was playing kind of, some traditional stuff?
Yeah, if you click, you can find out.
Ooh, I'm excited. Can't wait. Jeremy,
He was
Dominic,
just playing
and
humans.
Jonathan. Oh, he's just playing humans. Womp, womp, womp. So what took it all was humans, Bridgevine, and Mardu Death Shadow.
Yeah, Mardu Death Shadow is really sweet. And a deck I think that a lot of people were sleeping on, actually.
Mardu Pyromancer. But I lost to on Friday, but it wasn't Death Shadow. But yeah, this deck is really cool because it gets to play that new war card, Dreadhorde Arcanist, in the main.
Card.
And then it gets to play Stepmom, which is Giver of Ruins. That's what everybody's calling Giver of Ruins now. The creature that gives your stuff protection.
Yeah, it's just a one-of to get off your Ranger Captain of Eoses when you need it.
Ranger Captain of Eos. Card's sweet.
Card's really powerful.
God, there's just so many cards from this new Horizon set, man, that just have been just changing the format.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, you can make.
But remember, it's Commander Horizons, not Modern Horizons.
Yeah, man. Everybody was like, "Oh, it's a Commander set." I think we even said that, right? Didn't we say that when we first looked at it?
You'll have to listen back to find out.
We did. We said it wasn't. We said we weren't too. And I think I'm gonna say that I was wrong. You know, it's not always easy to say I was wrong, but I was definitely wrong. I think this set's power level is way, way higher than I thought it was before.
Yeah, you were definitely wrong.
I was.
Not me. You.
Yeah, you're right. And I'm really liking that people are playing Unearth. I think this card is sweet in that deck.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm still on the fence on how good Unearth actually is.
Yeah. I mean, you get to bring your dude back. That does things.
We've had Claim to Fame in Modern forever, and it never seen play. It's seen fringe play.
Sure. I don't know. This card cycles too, so it's pretty neat.
Claim to Fame also gives creatures haste.
True, but it's more mana intensive.
Yeah, but
I know. And so, you know, but like this is the Death Shadows list. Maybe I would say the Unearth would be a little bit better in just the Pyromancer version. You know?
Yeah, it's pretty sweet in that deck, being able to get back like your seasoned Pyromancers and stuff.
Yeah. So, well, cool. I'm glad to see somebody that you knew, you know, did well in that event. So that's pretty neat.
Congratulations again, John.
Yep. So what else we're gonna go look at the stuff, the modern classic and then the legacy classic. So let's take a look at oh baby, the modern classic. Look at that first list.
John Philip Whetstone.
Yeah, Whetstone. So he was playing Burn. Oh baby, my favorite. And then so let's see. First was Burn. Second was Esper Control. Third was Is It Phoenix? Then Jund. Then Humans. Hey, why wasn't Gavin doing well this weekend? Your teammate. If these are top 8 in the classic.
He doesn't draw as good.
His bobs don't bob as hard.
There's probably less Bridgevine in the classic.
Yeah.
Because, you know, they just made day 2.
Yeah, they're day 2 and they're getting after it. So let's take a look at this burn list. Did you know I was gonna click on this? You knew it. You sandbagged me, you son of a bitch.
I try my best.
All right, so it's your traditional red-white list. It's got 4 Sunbaked Canyons in here. Beautiful.
Gotta get baked.
Let's see. 4 Gabos, 4 Swift Spears, 4 Eidolons, 20 lands, 3 Snow Covereds. Oh baby. 4 Skewer the Critics. 4 Lightning Helix, 4 I mean, this is super stock. I really like it. Let's see the sideboard. 3 Tormods, 3 Rest in Peace. Isn't that insane? 6 Graveyard Hate pieces, man.
We're playing vintage.
Oh my god!
What do you want from us?
I know. 3 Path to Exiles, You got 9 cards in your sideboard that do 0 damage. Oh, and let's not forget about wear and tear. So we've got 11 cards in our sideboard that just are not on the same plan to do damage that are, the same plan as our deck is. That is so nuts. So nuts.
Yeah, that's the way you got to do it.
Obviously, this weekend you did. Against Hogaxter. The Stir, the Gakarak. Cool. So, let's see if there's anything crazy on this list.
Not really, other than that.
No, yeah, it's pretty traditional. Eldrazi, Tron, Humans, Bridgevine, Devoted Devastation, Jund. Okay, cool. So let's see. Let's go back here. Let's take a look at the Legacy Classic.
Legacy.
Regacy. We want to talk about Regusi.
Regusia.
Ah. Mono Red Prison took first place. Wow, that's really cool, dude. I didn't think it had it in it.
Yeah, I mean
to take first, did you?
Yeah, it's a Chalice Blood Moon deck.
Sure, but
it can always like just get lucky and win.
Robert Beatty must have been drawing like a hot as a motherfucker if he took first place with this thing. All right, so then Is It Delver took second.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got Storm, Bomberman, Mr. Zach Allen with Zorius Stoneblade, and Is It Delver and Miracles, and Rakdos Reanimator. Very nice.
So pretty known Legacy decks at this point.
Yep. Nothing really crazy here in the top 8. Just your basic, Turbo Depths I see in here.
Mm-hmm.
Golgari Depths, which is just going to be your slower version.
Yeah, slow Depths instead of Turbo Depths.
Yeah. But they, SCG has a different way of saying things, so that's cool. But yeah, that's really good, man. I like to see that. So we'll come back to these top 8 guys, our local guys that did something, and local gals, right?
Yeah, we'll get back to them in a little bit.
We'll get back to that. Now.
Well, no, not yet.
Oh, what are we gonna get into?
What
did I miss?
So yeah, this is gonna be a longer episode. We have our top 10 for.
God, yeah. Before
M20.
we do that, man, I almost missed it.
You did.
All right, so we want to talk about this week is the
pre-release for Magic 2020.
Yes, sir. Now tell them about it. I'll give you the mouse. It's all yours.
I am in power now.
you have the read.
I'm gonna go back to this really quick. So when we talk about the locals.
Sounds great.
So on the other screen, I have pulled up a bunch of cards that I want to just talk about briefly and why I'm excited for them in not Modern Horizons.
But yeah,
you're doing 2020.
What I'm always doing.
So first, I have 3 honorable mentions followed by our top 10.
Cool.
Because there's like so many more cards I'd love to talk about, but
yes,
I tried to limit the list a little bit.
For another day, right?
Yeah.
We'll have to fit in a set release sometime.
The first card I'm going to talk about is an honorable mention in God's Willing. So this card I'm very excited about because it goes into one of my favorite archetypes that never really took off. Some people played it here and there, but that was about it, which is the Feather decks.
Mm-hmm.
So this is going to be a complete upgrade to any of the 1 mana protection you've played. If you've played Dive Down, if you've played, I can't remember the name, but the one that gives you Indestructible, then you scry one, get them out unless you want more than 4 copies. Play 4 God's Willings first. Because protection is better than any of those options, because it lets you also get aggressive. You scry 1, which makes it better than Dive Down for that reason. This card is absurd. And it's really interesting.
In that deck.
Yeah. And it's interesting that they're coming back to this keyword protection, which is something for a while they said that they weren't going to do anymore.
Yep, you were telling me about that.
That they were retiring that keyword.
Yeah, I don't know. They say a lot of things, man, and they just don't do it.
Yeah.
They're like, we're going to get rid of dorks. We're going to get rid of, they did get rid of Lightning Bolt.
Well, they said they were going to get rid of Lightning Strike, too.
Yeah, and they just didn't. They were like, well, 2-drop 3 damage spells are just, we don't want those in the format either. And then they went back and reprinted it. So, yeah, they say a lot of things and don't do it.
Yeah, so I'm excited for this card. Another card I'm excited about, not so much for, we're going to talk about the top 10. I tried to make sure to include a lot of the formats in it.
Okay.
So I tried to not just focus on like modern or standard. I tried to get a mix so we can talk about a lot of things. And my next honorable mention isn't going to do a lot in standard unless something comes out that I don't know about. But that's Steel Overseer's getting a reprint. This is really cool for modern because Overseer, while it's never been a super expensive card, It's always been a necessary one for if you ever want to play any of those artifact decks. This card is very powerful. If we get an artifact deck in Standard, I expect Steel Overseer to see play in it.
I think they might want to do that again. I think people have a lot of fun with artifact decks.
Yeah, like the Ensoul deck was really fun. I never got to play it, unfortunately, in paper.
Yep.
But that deck was so much fun to play.
Yeah.
And Steel Overseer is just a house of a card.
Yep.
So the last honorable mention, I really wanted to try to fit it into the top 10, but my gut just tells me I'm not. Like, everybody's hyping this card up, saying that it might be the most broken card in the whole set, but I don't know if I agree with it.
Yeah.
And that is this card right here. It's actually a land. It's Lotus Field. So what this land is it enters the battlefield tapped, and it has hexproof. When it enters, you have to sacrifice 2 lands, but it taps for 3 mana of 1 color. So the reason a lot of people are saying this is broken is if you have a thing like Blood Sun, you negate all of the negative abilities, so it enters untapped. You don't have to sacrifice 2 lands,
and it taps for 3 mana. Now, your gut told you that this was... I couldn't even do it. Now, you got a big gut, so you have to be right about this. Okay, keep going. Oh, shit. All right, so Lotus Field...
Fuck you, Josh.
Oh, roasted you.
So, yeah, though, the other thing people are talking about is an amulet, because once you have an amulet in play, you get 3 mana before you have to sack your lands. So it can create a really fast Titan, but I'm not sure if it's any faster or better than the bounce lands, because the downside of it is really big.
Lands. Yeah.
But it can't be ghost corded in response, which is pretty strong. So we'll wait and see how this goes.
Standard also has Field of Ruin right now.
Yeah, but this has hexproof.
That's what I'm saying. Like, Standard has Field of Ruin, but...
I don't see this card seeing play in Standard.
Okay.
Unless, like, the Blood Sun interaction is actually good.
Yeah, it could be.
We'll see.
It could be.
So that's enough on the honorable mentions. Let's get to the actual top 10. So first, we're going to start with number 10, which is Serapha Sky's Blade.
Safara?
Safara Sky's Blade.
I think it's Safara.
So this card costs 7 mana and is a 7/7 with flying and lifelink. But while a 7 mana card's not playable in Modern, would you pay 1 mana for a 7/7 flying lifelink?
I think I would.
So this card has an alternate cost of paying a white mana and tapping 4 untapped creatures you control with flying, rather than paying its mana cost.
Ooh, very
but on top of that, on top of the lifelink and flying in the 7/7, it also gives other creatures you control with flying indestructible. So all of those creatures that you just tapped are now going to be indestructible once this card hits.
Sick.
So there's been a lot of talk about a Spirits deck, which I think this would definitely go into. Okay. There's a lot of like just small 1 mana flyers. So maybe you can play like a more aggressive deck and this be kind of like in the mono green Stompy deck they have Galta. In the mono white deck / blue white deck, maybe you play Safara.
I like it.
So this is a card I'm very interested on that I haven't seen a lot of talk about, but I have a feeling this card might be very good.
Good.
Moving on to number 9 is one that's definitely going to be good for Standard, but not so much for Modern. We're getting a reprint of the enemy colored temples. Now temples, I always loved temples in Standard. They were really good. I know they weren't great for aggro decks.
I played with them.
But, sometimes you gotta play with bad mana fixing.
Well, they're good for mid-range decks.
They're good for mid-range. They're good for control. They're insane if there's a combo deck. Yeah. Like Nexus with this Temple of Mystery.
Yeah, so silly.
That's gonna be interesting.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited to see these. They're an iconic land cycle for me because they're actually the land cycle that I was playing with when I got into Magic. Not into Magic, but into competitive Magic anyways.
Okay.
The Temple cycle was the big land cycle in Standard.
Yeah. No, I mean, I really think they did a great job with this new artwork.
Yeah, these arts are pretty great.
I'd love to see this artwork blown up. I think that would be beautiful.
I'd love to see it in foil.
Yeah. I'm sure Temple of Epiphany looks really good in foil, and
I think Temple of Triumph might be my favorite.
Yeah, it could be.
So moving on to number 8, we got We got one just for you, Josh.
Oh,
we got ourselves a dino. We got the Rotting Regisaur.
Rawr.
3 mana for a 7/6.
Yeah, dude, that's so nuts.
But at the beginning of your upkeep, you have to discard a card.
Yep.
So what do you think of this card, Josh?
Okay, so you and I had talked about this like probably a couple weeks ago when it got spoiled. I thought this card was bad. When I first read it, I'm like, ew, you gotta discard a card during your upkeep or else it dies. So the thing about Magic for me that has been instilled into me since day one is it's the if-then clauses, right? And it's always been the if-then clauses. It's, well, if you can't do this, well, then I guess you don't get to keep that permanent anymore. So when I read it, I instantly said, if you can't discard a card, you have got to sacrifice this creature, and they did not put that clause on there.
They did not.
And which is very, very strange to me. And so when people were talking about it on our Facebook group, which, you know, if you guys ever get a chance, please go and join. It's Mom's Basement Games Facebook group. But we had a discussion in there about it, and you know, because I had played dinosaurs for a little while. And I just didn't have access to something this cool. But people were like, this card's great. I'm like, I don't know. And then I read it, and then you told me, like, yeah, you don't have to discard a card if you don't have one. I was like, what? That's so good. So yeah, I think this card's great, man. This makes it in top 10, 100%.
Yeah, and even like in standard, like a 7/6 on 3 is very powerful. And if there's a deck that can take advantage of the discard, that just becomes a benefit. We've like, look at Faithless Looting in Modern, for example. There's a lot of decks that are fine just discarding cards for good payoff, and I think a 7/6 on turn 2 potentially off like a Llanowar Elf, that's payoff.
Yeah, that's so nuts, man. I mean, especially without like a Path to Exile. Now, granted, this thing doesn't have trample, but I mean, you just got to keep chunking bodies in front of it, and that's just card advantage. That's just pure card advantage.
It keeps you even. It's not really card advantage because you have to discard. But
Sure.
If you get empty-handed, then yeah.
Yeah. I just think it's a really good one.
Yeah. So next on our list at number 7 is another reprint that, again, might be good in standard depending on the meta, but it's Grafdigger's Cage. So this has always been a good sideboard tech. I play it in Modern. I play it in Legacy. It's super powerful, being able to shut off the graveyards, but also being able to shut off people getting things out of their library. Notably for Standard, this shuts off Experimental Frenzy.
It does. And that Devastation card too, right?
Yeah,
the
that
Warren
card
Spark
doesn't.
one?
Yeah, it doesn't see a lot of Standard play.
It sees more Modern Legacy.
Yeah,
Okay.
but it also stops Rekindling Phoenixes from coming back.
Nice.
It stops Arclight Phoenixes from coming back.
Which is not huge in Standard, right?
Blue-Red Phoenix is a deck in Standard.
Okay. And then what about that new cool graveyard deck that we saw, the one that brings like Planeswalkers back?
Yeah, it stops them from Command the Dreadhorde.
Command the Dreadhorde. Yeah, that deck's pretty cool. I think that deck's neat. But yeah, I think that's what people were talking about, why they're reprinting stuff like this into M20, is because they may be moving towards some graveyard strategies, obviously.
Yeah, which I am both excited and scared about. It's a very scary thing to think about them moving to the graveyard, because it is a very inherently powerful zone, as we've seen in Eternal formats, but it gives them a lot of flexibility.
Yeah.
So next on our list, speaking of cards we're scared of, is our number 6. Does anybody remember Vampiric Tutor?
I do. And by anybody, you mean me.
Yeah.
Because nobody else is here with us.
No, maybe there will be in the future.
Frankie's upstairs. She's thinking about us. Frankie, my little puppy.
Would you, Scheming Symmetry for Frankie?
So choose Scheming Symmetry. Choose 2 target players. Oh, do you have to have 2 target players?
Yes, you have to have 2 targets.
Okay, so me and you. So I'm going to choose you, Richie. Each of them searches their library for a card, then shuffles their library and puts that card on top of it. Oh, it's like Marilyn, the Morn Song. Or Marlena, however you say that.
It's Marilyn.
Is it Marilyn?
That's how I've always pronounced it.
Yeah, so it's just her ability, but just basically happens at the same time. This is really neat. I like this.
and for 1 mana.
1 mana. It's sorcery speed, but thank God it's not instant, right?
Yeah, so that's the downside, is your opponent would get the card first.
Correct, but that's the whole thing about it all the time, is like your opponent always is going to get the card first.
Well, and that's the thing. There's a lot of ways to break this card's symmetry, obviously.
I think so.
The first and obvious one is just playing the more broken deck. You're not going to play this in your Jund deck.
Yeah, you're going to play a combo-esque deck.
Yeah, you're going to play this in, your Storm decks and Legacy. You're going to play this in your maybe Reanimator deck and Legacy.
Yeah,
definitely your Commander.
You know what this card reminds me of? Yeah, in Commander deck, absolutely. Yeah. It's just another tutor, but this card reminds me of pseudo Show and Tell.
Kind of.
Because you both get to go get something powerful, right? Or something that is really good. Because think about it, like, I'm a burn player, right? And so if somebody were to tell me, hey, go search your deck up and they have Show and Tell in hand, and I'm like, oh, okay, and it's game 1, what am I going to go get? A Fire Blast? Like, they're just going to laugh at me.
Well,
so
exactly.
That's I guess how I'm paralleling it, is that you're saying like, oh, this card is, this card's going to be really good. Well, yeah, again, in some decks, in the right decks, this card's going to be busted.
Yeah, for sure. And there's more ways to break it than just playing it in a busted deck. You can also play a way to stop your opponent from drawing that card. Cards like Thought Scour exist. Cards like Manamorphose exist, to where you get to draw the card first.
Yeah.
Just straight up cantrips. Cast this, then cast your Serum Visions, or in Legacy, cast this, then cast a Brainstorm.
Yeah, so it's deck manipulation on both sides, because that you do have access to Thought Scour. Another cool card is that little guy that says target player shuffles their library. Remember that guy?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He's a mirror. That's pretty cool. That's a neat one too.
Pretty
casual. Pretty casual.
So yeah, I will not be surprised if this card gets broken very fast.
Yeah, I think it has potential. I think it's really cool.
Another card that I'm not surprised found a way to get broken, because I'm not sure really where it would see play if it couldn't have gotten broken, is this card right here, Colossus Hammer. So I know you got a good chuckle out of this card when I shown it to you earlier.
Yeah, I did.
So this is a 1 mana artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +10/+10. But I mean, look at the hammer. The hammer's pretty big, right, Josh?
That's what he said. Yeah, it is.
So the creature loses flying, because you can't fly with a hammer that big.
No, you can't.
But you got to be pretty strong to pick up that hammer.
That's what he said too. Yeah.
So yeah, it's got an 8 mana equip cost.
Yes, I just don't know how you equip this thing other than in Commander.
So
where do you get 8 mana from?
Well,
in Standard.
You don't necessarily need 8. Oh, this isn't a Standard pick. This is not on here for Standard.
Okay.
So there's a couple different cards that can break the symmetry of this. One is, I can never remember its name. I remember you telling me about it because I thought the card was trash. It's the 1 red sorcery where you can just use it to equip an equipment onto a creature.
Oh, yeah. God, I forgot. Yeah.
And then there's also Sigarda's Aid, which is a white enchantment that says you can play equipment at instant speed, and when you play them, you immediately equip this. So with a Glistener Elf, for example, on turn 2, you go Sigarda's Aid, attack, put the hammer into play. That's 11 points of infect.
Ooh, okay. I like that. Look at you. You're building like green-red infect over here. With some blue, maybe?
You need white.
4-color infect.
Naya
infect. I like that.
Yeah.
That's cool, yeah. And of course they have Eldrazi conscriptions down there, because that's a card that you can relate it to.
Yeah. So number 4 on our list is another interesting card. A lot of people refer to it as Baby Knight of the Reliquary, which is Elvish Reclaimer. So now this is a 1 green 1/2 that it gets +2/+2 as long as there are 3 or more lands in your graveyard. Now, the way you can get lands with this into your graveyard is it has an activated ability. 2 mana, tap it, sack a land. You can search your library for a land card, put it into the battlefield tapped, then shuffle your library.
I don't know about this, Richie.
I really like it. 1, it's an elf.
Sure, it's an elf warrior.
And 2, it fetches Gaia's Cradle for you.
Yeah. I mean, do you need like 5 through 8 Knight of the Reliquary?
I mean, you don't play Knight in your Legacy Elves deck.
Okay. Sure.
On top of that, you can get this faster with a Green Sun Zenith.
Okay.
Or, even in Modern, like, Knight's kind of slow.
Yeah.
Some people were talking about it. I'm a little skeptical on it, but if it works, it's going to be really funny, is playing this in Tron.
Okay.
Because you can have your 2 Tron lands in play.
Okay.
And if your opponent goes to Ghost Quarter or Field of Ruin you just use it, sack the land they're going to hit, get the same Tron piece back.
Oh. Or you could just play one of your Tron lands that you drew too many of, sacrifice that, and go get your piece and turn it on.
Mm-hmm.
This is really cute then.
Yeah,
This is applications other than just in Legacy Elves.
Yeah, there's some interesting
things.
Yeah,
that you can
interesting
do with this
things.
card. Yeah, I like that.
And I'm excited to see where it goes. That's why I have it kind of high up. Maybe it should be lower on our list, but I like this card.
Yeah.
I think it has potential.
Okay, I like that. That's good.
Next, though, it could arguably
be the best.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 on this list.
Oh, come on, guy.
But we're gonna put it at number 3.
Fuck that
because it's Goblins. Goblin Ringleader in 2020. I know I've nonstop talk about it, but I'm so excited for this to be in Modern.
Man.
So for all of you that don't play Legacy, this is a 3 in a red Goblin, 2/2 haste, that when it enters the battlefield, you reveal the top 4 cards of your library. Put all Goblin cards revealed this way into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. This card is one of the core pieces of the Legacy Goblins deck. It's the card advantage we need in Modern.
Those of you that are listening, you can't see me shaking my head, but I'm shaking my head.
Oh, they can. Oh, listening, sure they can. Goblins is gonna be good again.
Holy
Make
shit.
Goblins great again.
Holy shit! Here we go.
Listen, love me some
when
Goblin.
when we take our fireball shot on episode 30, and I'm gonna clip this and run this back, and when no one has been playing Goblins to any efficiency in Modern, I'm just gonna loop this for you.
And when Goblins wins the Pro Tour, I'll make sure to flip you all.
You got it. Hey, I was already wrong one time this episode, so I'll be wrong again.
Oh yeah,
Future Josh could be wrong.
Oh yeah, Goblin Ringleader, it's the real deal.
All right, good. What's our number 2 pick?
So number 2 is another kind of speculative pick like the Elf, but I think it's a very high power level card, and that's Brought Back. So for 2 white,
Brought Back. Brought Back. Got it.
So for 2 white, it's an instant. You can choose up to 2 target permanent cards in your graveyard that were put to the battlefield or put there from the battlefield this turn. Return them to the battlefield tapped. So, if you play a fetch land on 1, play a fetch land on 2, crack both of them, get 2 white sources, play this, that's a double rampant growth.
Oh.
On top of that, this is anti-protection from a board wipe.
Oh.
If you're playing some sort of eggs, you can get them back to keep drawing more cards.
Yeah, that's what instantly the first thing I said was eggs.
Yeah.
So it's a mini, what was the card?
Second Sunrise.
Second Sunrise. Baby Second Sunrise. Very cute. I like that.
I think this card, like I said, the big deck I think that it's going to is something that can abuse the fact that it's a double Stone Rain, or not Stone Rain, a double Rampant Growth for 2 mana.
Yeah.
Which is Titan Shift. I can easily see this card making Titan Shift into a Naya deck. Especially because in that deck you don't just have fetch lands, you also have Sakura Tribe Elders you can get back with this. So on turn 3, on turn 2 you can play your Steve, hold off on cracking it, turn 3, fetch land, crack Steve, get back Steve fetch land.
Gross. Very gross. That's a lot of rampant.
Yeah.
That might give, this card could even give, what's that other deck that plays, not, Escape Shift.
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, I thought you were talking about, what's its face? I thought you said,
Titan Shift.
Oh, okay, you said Titan Shift. I was thinking of not the Titan portion, but scape shift, like the blue colored scape shift.
Yeah, I mean maybe. They both any escape shift.
I was thinking it might be able to help that list because that list is like a turn too slow. Okay, yeah, man, this has been a really solid top 10 so far. And your number one, what's your number one pick?
It's the elephant in the room, if we're being honest. Like I think
I'm the number one pick.
Yes.
Good. Thanks, Richie. Man, I knew you were gonna try to make me feel good during this thing.
Try.
You're so good to me.
Our number one pick is the Leyline cycle.
Okay.
So we have our 3 reprints in Leyline of Sanctity, Leyline of Anticipation, and Leyline of the Void. Anticipation doesn't do a whole lot. You see it sometimes in Vintage because it lets you kill your opponent on turn 0.
There's a cool Leyline deck in Legacy.
There's the Leylines deck in Legacy, which I actually think gets better from the fact that it gets 2 more Leylines. I don't think it's going to play the red one. The red one's pretty bad in my opinion.
Red one's real bad.
But Sanctity and Void see a lot of modern play, and even some legacy play.
Mm-hmm.
And Abundance, which is the new green Leyline.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
There's a lot of potential with this card, and I'm going to get into it right now.
Oh.
So first is in the Leylines deck you mentioned, because since you mentioned it, I'll talk about it first.
Mm-hmm.
This it makes your draws a lot more consistent, where you play a Dryad Arbor in the deck, so you can use your Dryad Arbor to make 2 green,
yep.
And then when you crop rotate it into your Serra Sanctum, you can play what's the Opalescence, I think it is?
Opalescence, yep, correct.
You can play your Opalescence if you only have 3 Leylines. Mm-hmm. So it lets you need 1 less Leyline, and a lot of your Leylines in that deck don't necessarily do as much. Like, you're obviously not going to cut your Voids or your Sanctities for it, but I can easily see this becoming a 4 of in that deck. You know, how much does it help? Who knows? It might help a little bit, though. We'll see. But on top of that, there's a lot of combo potential with this card. So a lot of people have talked about in Standard, you are able to play, if you have 2 Leylines, you can play a turn 2 Nissa, animate a land, and then play a 3-drop off it.
Ramp so hard.
That shit cray.
That shit cray. Ain't that, Jay?
Fish fillet.
Fish fillet.
And then in Modern, if you have a creature that can make blue mana, this card goes infinite with one of Josh's favorite cards.
Oh, you know it.
Freed from the Real.
Counterspell. Oh, what?
Oh.
Free from the Real?
Yeah.
Love that card.
Yeah. So if your Mana Dork can tap for blue,
mm-hmm.
you get a blue and a green. You use the blue to cast Freed from, or
untap it.
To untap it,
yep.
You have to have a blue land in play also.
Yeah, and then you
untap it, and then you make infinite green mana.
Yep.
And then you use the ability on this to make an infinite and kill your opponent with it.
Man, you're gonna get me excited wanting me to play Walls again, talking about Freed from the Real. Combo Walls.
I wouldn't play Walls with this.
I know.
I think you can get a lot better of a shell with like Noble Hierarch, Birds of Paradise, Sylvan Caryatid.
Yeah, I love that card too.
Caryatid's really good since it is hexproof.
Yeah.
It can't win you the game, but, you know, your Hydroid Krasis for infinite can.
Good. Well, that was a good top 10. I like that. And, man, are we over on time. But, hey, why not? Let's get into finance real quick.
Yeah, I mean, it's episode 5. We're allowed to go over.
Yeah,
right?
we're allowed to have a little extra here. I'm really excited that they're doing the new ley lines, though, to be honest.
Yeah, that card's going to be really... I'm really excited for that green ley line.
Yeah. All right, so we do our finance every single week. We want to keep those of you that are following us and following...
You have a fine aunt, don't you?
I have a fine aunt. You right.
You should send her my way sometime.
I will. She's into full-figured men.
Oh.
All right, so...
I knew your family was inbred.
Ixalan Jailer, you guys. This week for finance, this is the number 1 card that is popped.
He was number 1.
He was number 1. And so this card went up 597%, and it has moved from a quarter card? Was it a quarter?
I'm pretty sure it was a quarter.
Big 33 cents. went all the way up to $4.95. So
how many of those do you think we got in bulk, Josh?
we got a decent amount. It's a Future Sight, right? Future Sight card? Yeah.
We got a Future Sight box.
We
got at least one Future Sight box.
We just got that Future Sight box in today, so we better pick that bad boy.
Better
Hogak,
stay up late.
Oh God, before Hogak gets dunked on. Yeah. So now Ixalan Jailer has seen the spike because of Hogak, Arisen Necropolis decks in the format, and it's another turn 2 answer that says it's a 2/1 creature that says cards in graveyards lose all abilities. So this doesn't allow Hogak to really get its engine running. It shuts off what is it?
Hogak.
No, well, it shuts off Hogak itself, correct, but it shuts off the early game enablers that of Gravecrawler and Bloodghast that you can bring back with the ability of Landfall. So those are the kind of things that it does shut off, and it doesn't really. I mean, is there any other strategies that it hurts? It doesn't, right?
Dredge.
Other than Dredge.
Storm.
Like I'm not even talking about Dredge right now because. Yeah, Dredge is a deck, but I mean it's just been rolled over by Hogak. So it's like you don't even need to talk about it because it's just Hogak's just the better Dredge deck, basically. So
it also stops Storm.
Yeah.
Because they can't Past in Flames.
Yep, they can't use Past in Flames. So that's pretty cool too. So if you guys have that, man, I hope you get this information quick because with the BNR announcement coming next week. You guys will see this card go back to its original 33 cents.
I don't agree with that.
No?
This card's always been like a $2 to $3 card in my mind.
Okay. Well, I think even with this big spike, I think with price memory, I think it does go back to like $2. I think it may stay at $2 forever, because people will see, oh well, it was $5, so let's they start putting copies up, and it still sells, and yeah, I think you're probably right.
I mean, in the middle.
You're probably right. It'll probably be a $2 card. I can agree with that.
As usual, though, as we always talk about,
what?
They probably shouldn't buy this card right now.
They definitely, 100% should not buy this card right now. Wait till next week. But you know what? What if they don't ban anything on a Hogak next week?
I think this is still like a $5 card.
Me too. So, listen, you're paying $5 next week for this card if they don't ban anything.
$5.
Maybe $6. So, yeah. Just wait on that card. But please, if you're playing in the next couple weeks and Hogak doesn't have a ban yet, well, you're going to need that card probably if you're in black. Okay, so the next card here that we have, and again, this is mtgstocks.com, and we go off this site every single week because this just gives us a quick look at what's going on with the changes. The gentleman who runs this, I can't remember his name anymore, but I used to know it. He does a really good job, and sometimes he misses weeks because I think he has another job. I think he's wrote an article of what he does, but he does other things, so he's not always on point. But lately, since we started the podcast, this thing's been on point every week. So.
Just for us.
Yeah. So at number 2, the big card that's popped is Aria of Flame. And I played against this card on... God, what was it? On Friday, in my Blue-Red Phoenix matchup. I just barely lost to Phoenix, too. Felt real bad, but that's for another show and another time to talk about my losses. Mm-hmm. We could do that. Yeah, we don't have enough time.
We're already 20 minutes over.
We don't have enough time to talk about Daddy's losses. So this card is a 3-drop enchantment out of Modern Horizons, and it says when Aria of Flame enters the battlefield, each opponent gains 10 life.
Well, why the fuck would you want your opponent to gain 10
exactly, life? Exactly. You took the words right out of my mouth. Why would you want them to gain 10 life? Well, you know why? Because this card...
He kills Death Shadow.
Yeah, stop. That was really funny. Do you think about that one?
No.
God, man, you're quick.
I try.
So it does kill Death Shadow, but that is not the tech. The tech is you fucking die to this card. Now,
Commander players might know Sphinx Bone Wand.
Sphinx Bone Wand.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you know that card?
I do not.
It's basically the Aria of Flame's second ability, except it's 6 mana.
Okay. So, and that ability is whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, put a verse counter on Aria of Flame. Then it deals damage equal to the number of verse counters on it to target creature or player. So,
Not creature or player.
Sorry.
Player or planeswalker.
Target player or planeswalker, excuse me. So, each time you cast an instant or sorcery, you're going to dome them. This thing, Aria of Flame, is going to dome them on top of for the amount of counters on it. This card is nuts. This card's absolutely nuts. When I played against it, I was like, holy shit. Like, they played it, and the following turn, I fucking died.
Mm-hmm.
I died.
This card kills really quick, even though it takes 4 spells to, like, offset the 10 life.
Yeah, but what if a couple of those spells are lightning bolts?
I understand.
Holy shit. It's nuts.
The 4 it still takes 4 to offset, even with lightning bolt.
Yeah.
It's just lightning bolt did what lightning bolt did.
Yeah. Yep. So, do yourself a favor. If you want to play this card, it's at $6.50. I think it still has some room to move up. I think it's going to move up to the $12 range. I think it's still going to double in price. Richie, what do you think?
I tend to agree. This card's very powerful.
Yeah.
It did get me a lot of kills when I was playing Phoenix.
Past in Flames actually did hit $12 for a while. I think it might have even been $15. So
I think this is different than Past in Flames.
Correct, but it's a storm card. Ish.
Yeah.
Ish.
Fish?
Fish. It's a storm
I
card.
don't think Fish plays this card.
It does not. So the other card that Richie talked about earlier, oh my god, it's like he knows what he's doing, is Sigarda's Aid. And that's at the number 3 slot. And this is another card, too, that if you're into that sort of deck that Richie talked about, where either you're playing Infect, maybe you've played it in the past and you want to revive that deck because you're like, oh my god, we got that new card from, God, what is it? Swell Up? Is that what it's called?
Scale Up.
Scale Up. Because, oh my god, we got Scale Up and we got Sigarda's Aid and we got the new...
I still can't tell if you play Magic or not.
Oh man, I can't. I know what it is. I just can't get it out of my mouth. It's... Oh. So, yeah, with the printing of Colossus Hammer, like Richie said, you're just going to be able to play that Colossus Hammer and just, boom, equip it. And so this is a 1-drop enchantment. I'll read it to you guys. You may cast aura and equipment spells as though they had flash. That's the first line. Second line is, whenever an equipment enters the battlefield under your control, you may attach it to a target creature you control. So again, that gets around the old having to pay 8 mana to equip the Colossus Hammer. So,
which is a lot.
Yeah, which is it's actually too much. So pull those Sigarda Aids out of your bulk, you guys. Don't give those to us anymore. And if I see them in there, I'm gonna let you know. Hey, I gotta pay you. I gotta pay you for this card. This card's $7. I think this card. What do you think, Richie? You think this card gotta get it now?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think
this
card
will be like a $5 card.
I think it'll stabilize in the $2 to $5 range. So, if you guys are thinking about picking this up and you're just like balls to the wall, got to play these new decks with Infect and whatnot, or the Feather decks, then yeah, get the card now. You're just gonna probably pay a little bit for it, but
off note.
Yeah.
If you like to wear tinfoil hats,
oh.
Sigarda's Aid artwork is handing a hammer down to someone.
Ooh.
And it combos with Colossus Hammer. Coincidence?
I don't know.
I think not.
Do you really think they go that deep into making cards?
God, no, but I wish.
Yeah, that would be nuts. Like, oh, all right, let's call it Colossus. Man, if they had that much time, the game would probably be way stronger.
Yeah.
If they had that much time.
Hogak wouldn't have got it printed.
No, Hogak would not. They would have put the crack pipe down and not printed that card. Okay, so some cheap pickups.
They probably would have printed this card, too.
Well, you don't say that. So, cheap pickups this week. We always like to let you guys know about those. Lightning Bolt and Tarmogoyf are both on here. So, we'll start off with Lightning Bolt.
Did you ever think you'd see Tarmogoyf this cheap?
I did not. But let's start off with the Lightning Bolt. Now, the promo that they're giving away, the foil ones, those were I was selling them for $60 when I could get my hands on them. Now, when they first, were giving them away at Channel Fireball events, the foil ones, that is, people were just messaging me nonstop, like, "Hey, where are these foil lightning bolts at? I need a playset now." And they were willing to pay $60. Well, right now, they're currently $17.
That's for the non-foils.
That's for the non-foil. Yeah, excuse me. I read the wrong line. So they're currently $25.93. So Now, I don't know why there's such a gap here, because you could get the regular ones, the non-foil ones, way easier than you can because you get them when you play in side events, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there should be more copies of this. So look for the regular one to even go down further. I would say to the $10 range. Now for the foil ones, I would say they're probably going to level off about where the non-foil ones are at right now, which is between the $15 and $20 range. I think that's where they're going to level off at.
So would you recommend people to get these bolts now then?
Well, I think they're going to go down even more. Now, there's about a year breaker where the price is going to stay very low, and then the price is going to pick back up, just like it did with, everything that they've given away, basically. Stoneforge Mystic,
Grizzlebrand.
Grizzlebrand's moved back up.
He's like $12 still, isn't he?
I don't think so. I'm pretty sure it moved back up. You'd have to check, but we'll do a
fact check.
Yeah, we'll do a fact check while I talk about Tarmogoyf. So now Tarmogoyf is the next one that is on the cheap pickups list, and I'd definitely like to say that I'm not sure I can tell you guys to pick up Tarmogoyf unless you're going to play Legacy. Legacy is basically the only home that really the only home I think right now for Tarmogoyf. Now you're going to say, what about Jund? It's doing well. The people are topping in it.
I'm not going to say that.
Yeah, see, even you wouldn't say that, right? So now, if you're a Jund, if you're a Jund person and you love Jund, well, you're not gonna just plug your ears for this one, right? This card is not what it used to be. This card is not anywhere as powerful as what it used to be. Now, this is more of a tempo style card because things have gotten so much faster. So that's why you see this price. So right now, Tarmogoyf is at $40, which is pretty nuts.
Promo Grizzlebrand is like $17 right now.
Yeah, so almost $20. So he's climbed back up. I mean, when we were at the event, people were taking them. You were buy listing them for $6 or $7. So very low.
How low can you go?
How low can you go? Now, we want to let you guys know about these upward trends too. So cards that you either want to hold on to because they're obviously seeing an upward trend, or cards that you just want to pick up before they get too high. Ghost Away is a card that is starting to see an upward trend. Now, Ghost Away is remove each creature you control from the game, period, and then it says return those creatures to play under their owner's control at the end of the turn. So it's just a blink card, right? They've been printing a lot of really synergistic things in Commander lately that have been going with Ghostway. Now, Ghostway, there was another card they printed that was exactly like Ghostway, and I can't remember for the life of me what the other Ghostway was called, but the card's been functionally printed twice. I can see the picture in my head. I just can't remember what the card's called. Anyways, so this is starting to trend back up. Now, this card was at one point it was like $13-14, and I do remember that. And then it started to dip back down, but it's right now it's in the $12.99 range. So you wanna, if you need this card, I would say probably pick it up now, because it's not. It's in what, Dissension?
I believe that's Dissension.
Yeah, I think that's Dissension.
Guild Pact. That's why
Pact.
Or GPT's over there.
GPT Guild Pact. Yep. So this card's out of Guild Pact, and that set wasn't really opened up a lot. So a lot of times when you see these cards that have upward trends, once they start to get played a little bit, then that's when they really see that trend up, because people are like, oh wow, I actually need that card. Well, there's not a whole lot on the internet, so the amount that's there cannot keep up, and so that's why you see a price rise a lot of times.
I guess I just don't really get why people are wanting this card right now.
It's just really great in Commander. You know, you blinky blink pants decks that just want to blink their shit, get value out of it. It's great. Card's amazing.
Okay.
Reforge the Soul. This card, I'm really not sure why this card's seeing an uptick. Basically, I mean, I
love this card.
Yeah, the card's great, but
it's like Wheel of Fortune.
Yeah, it just keeps getting reprinted. So, but I think what happened is it's just starting to.
It's been a minute since it's been reprinted by now, though.
It has. And it's just starting to move back up. So again, it's another wheel effect that's really good, and you can miracle this card. So I would say, if you need this card, it should trend back up. It should get into that. I think it was like the $7 range from what I remember when it was not reprinted in a Commander set. So I think it'll get back up to that $7 range. It's in the $5 range right now.
Okay.
Kindred Discovery is the next card that's seeing an uptick, and this card's pretty nuts. Once in a while we'll find these in bulk rares because like people, they'll just give us a whole Commander deck, they'll stick it in a box and they'll forget about it, and we'll come across these, and this card's $12-13, and right now it's all the way up to $15.
Don't give us these people.
Yeah, don't leave this in your bulk. As Kindred Discovery enters the battlefield, choose a creature type, and of course it's got some fish on there. Whenever a creature you control of the chosen type enters the battlefield or attacks, draw a card. So now this card, I just had a discussion this weekend about this card being in Locust God, the Commander Locust God, the blue-red one. What's his name?
The problem is then you die because you draw your deck.
I know, but what's the guy's name?
It's the Locust God.
The Locust God, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's in the Locust God. So now my friend was asking me, he said, well, can I just stop the interaction from happening? I said, no, it's a must ability. It's not a may ability. So each time you make a creature,
you have to draw
you've got to draw a card. So if you
to draw a card.
If you're infinite and you're just like, I just made 100 creatures, well, guess what? You're drawing your whole fucking deck. Or if you're like, okay, I'm gonna attack with, these 50 creatures that I just made.
Well, you can't.
Yeah, you can't. You can't move to combat, because when you move to combat, it says, comma, it says or attacks, comma, draw a card.
Well, you're not gonna get to move to combat.
Yeah, you gonna die.
Yeah,
you gonna die. So there is no real way of stopping this, except for if you got to wipe away or an Echoing Truth. So you bounce this thing, make a bunch of dudes, draw your most of your deck, and then bounce this card back to your hand before you kill yourself. So this card's real strong though. So I'd recommend picking this card up. I mean, God, I don't know. Do you see this card really going to $20 or $30?
I don't know if I do, but I don't really know when it's going to get reprinted again either.
Yeah, that's the weird thing. It's like, God, I don't know. So I'd have to say, grab this thing before it gets up to $20, $25. I can see it getting there. I can see it topping out at 25. So the next one is Soul Ring. We don't really need to talk about this one. It is...
I don't know. It's weird to me.
Okay, so explain why it's weird, because maybe it's weird to other people that are listening.
So, Soul Ring. Great card.
Of course,
this card has been printed 2,957 times.
It has.
How is this card still $4?
How is it still trending up?
Yeah.
Well, it's still trending up because, again, Richie, it's like what I just talked about. You cannot get enough Soul Rings. You just can't feed the people.
But do you know how many Soul Rings are out there?
Correct. But there's not enough to feed all the people. It's really insane.
There's gotta be.
There's not.
I see precons on store shelves still. If you really need a Soul Ring that bad, you can buy one there.
Yeah, but you have to pay X amount of dollars, whereas you can just go. And now you got to remember this, right? We do 150 orders a day, and do you know how many Soul Rings we sell a week? Infinite.
Probably like 4.
At least. We probably sell a couple a day.
Well, we got to ask Chris for next week.
We do.
You're going over there after this. You got to find out on average how many Soul Rings we sell a day.
We want numbers. We want numbers, damn it.
It's my numbers and I need them now.
Yeah, and I would love to see how many Soul Rings that we've sold since we started the TCG Player.
My bet's it's 5 or less. Oh, not since we... Okay, hold on.
5 or what? 5 or more.
Fuck you. My bet is we sell 5 or less a week.
Okay. I would get down with that, Charlie Brown, for sure.
Now, since you started the TCG, probably sold like 100.
100?
Probably.
We've been going for 3 years now almost.
Sure, but you were a lot slower back in those days.
We were slower back in those days, but man, I mean, I'm telling you, dude, if I could see the numbers of Soul Rings that we've
How many Soul Rings do you think we have in stock?
I don't know. That's a really good question. That's a really good
So
question.
that some people don't know how good soaring is. Like, I told you the story a long time ago.
I can look it up. I can tell you and the people right now.
My friend Dakota doesn't play soaring in his Myela deck.
Oof. That's pretty rough, man.
I told him you should put soaring in.
The card's okay. Turn 1, 2 mana on turn 2. It's pretty solid.
How many Commander games do you think have been decided by turn 1 soaring?
Every Commander match I've ever played.
Yeah?
Yeah. When somebody goes turn 1 Soul Ring, I'm just like, yep, you win. We have 1 Soul Ring in stock right now.
No, that's this set.
Nope.
No.
That's total. We have 1 Soul Ring in stock right now.
What?
Yeah. I'm telling you, man, we sell through these things. It's not even real.
But I don't think we get a lot of Soul Rings in.
We do, man. We do. Yeah, we get a lot of Soul Rings in. You probably scan Soul Rings every week, man. We got 1 in stock right now. That's how nuts it is. And you say to yourself, oh, well, there's infinite amount of those. We've got 77,000, almost 78,000 cards in stock right now. We have 1 Soul Ring to our names.
Yeah, but there's also cards we don't have.
Sure, but I'm just saying, you would think we should have infinite of this card, right? We should have 20 or 30. No, because they're all gone because they get bought every week. Because little Timmy's online with his mom's credit card going, I want to buy this deck. This new Commander deck looks sweet. Buy.
But, like, how many Soul Rings does one person need?
Well, there's some people that I know that have 20 fucking decks plus. And they need 20 plus Soul Rings. They need 1 for every deck. It's nuts, man. I didn't think it was real before, but now that I got into this side of the business, it's just like, if somebody walks up to me with 1,000 Soul Rings, I will walk to the ATM machine and I will get you money, or I will write you a check and I will buy every Soul Ring you have. It's just that important. It's like Lightning Bolt.
I feel like Soul Ring sees less play than Lightning Bolt.
No, the casual market's bigger.
I feel like
so much
Bolt.
to learn, my young Padawan. So much to learn. So little time. As
a casual, I played 4 Lightning Bolts.
Yeah, I know.
I
All right, so hey,
Soul
listen.
Rings.
Before we move on though, Richie, I want to tell these guys where to find us at. Before we talk about our local stuff that happened.
You're gonna give them your address?
No, I don't want to get murdered in my sleep for somebody that didn't like the podcast.
The 0 people that liked our podcast.
So please do yourself a favor. If you guys are on Twitter, find myself and the whole crew at Mom's Basement MTG, and that's on Twitter. You can also find us on Instagram, and like I said earlier, join our Facebook group. And if you want to follow Richie, which he's been doing a lot more Instagramming, which I'm really proud of him. He's been doing a lot more tweeting. He's got 692 tweets. Proud of you, big guy.
236 followers.
Yep, he's getting up there, and I'll talk about your giveaway in a second. But you can find him at Richard T. MTG.
And on Instagram, you can find me at RichieT2196.
There we go. So tell us about your giveaway, bub.
Yeah, so as what was originally a thank you for 100 plus followers on Twitter, I've now surpassed by quite a bit. But I'm giving away a playset of the MCQ promo Arcbound Ravagers. Now, the way you can earn these is you go to my Twitter, which is at RichardTMTG, as we've said before. You like my pinned post, which is the post for the giveaway. You go into my comments and you tag someone's name in. And then you also give me a follow. Once you've done those 3 things, you'll be entered into the giveaway that is going to be announced on July 10th for the winner.
July 10th. So we will have this uploaded to our Mom's Basement Games YouTube page. So if you guys do find us on YouTube and you scroll through and you're watching us, because you're into full-figured men, please do yourself a favor and go and do one of those 3 things that Richie wants you to do, because, you get free cards. It was like what we said last time. We did a giveaway, and, that we're still trying to find that person. So, do the giveaway and then come get your free stuff, because we love you guys.
Aren't we supposed to do a giveaway?
We're doing a giveaway on Thursday for our Sliver Queen. So,
but what does the starting soon page say?
Don't listen. Don't yell at me. Not happening today.
Josh forgot about the giveaway.
Don't tell on me.
He's a bad stream dad.
I'm a bad stream dad.
He just forgets about you children.
I do. So
it's okay though. I don't know that we want to do a giveaway with 0 people and.
Oh, that's all right. That's all right. There'll be some people.
How would they get it? They obviously don't contact us afterwards.
So the last thing that we do want to talk about, which we said, the podcast went a little long today, but we had to give you guys the top 10 cards and cards to look out for in 2020. But we had the local tournament that we talked about last week over at Pandemonium Games and Hobbies in Garden City, Michigan, and that went really well. It was to help local players get to the places that they need to get to. It was a fund started by Mr. Christopher Byrne that was initiated by local player. What was his name?
Brett Gear.
And they made a post saying, hey, we have a local player, Nick Subcheck, that needed a little bit of help getting to the Pro Tour because he had made the Pro Tour
in Barcelona.
Yep. And so the community reached out and helped. Brett donated a Mox Pearl. He then, this past weekend, 2 weekends ago, he then played in his tournament where he donated the Mox Pearl. He then won the Mox Pearl, which was fucking insane. I mean, there was 23 people there. So
no, it was not 23.
Well, how many was it?
It was like...
Was there 23 tables?
Yeah.
Okay. So there's 46 people there. So anyways, He won this tournament. He then took the Mox Pearl that he had won and donated, and then he redonated it. Super cool shit. Very cool. Shout out to Brett. And, we hope that this kind of stuff inspires other people to do good for the community, reaching out through Magic, because this is our hobby. This is what we love to do, and this is something that we want to keep going strong. And so
it's really awesome.
Yeah. So thanks, Brett. We appreciate you for that, and Chris in Pandemonium Games in Garden City, Michigan. We appreciate you guys doing something like that. Richie and I were both there, as we told you at the last podcast. So
check back to hear that turned out.
Yeah, see how that turned back. It wasn't very good for me. It wasn't very good for Richie, but
round one was pretty good for me.
The round one was pretty good for you. Fuck you.
Fuck you.
So, but yeah, that's basically all we got for today, right?
We didn't even talk about the people who did well from Star City that.
Oh, the locals.
Yeah.
Oh yes, we got to shout out. Who do we got to shout out? We got to shout out Zach Allen. I mean, when don't we shout out Zach Allen?
It feels like he top 8s everything he tries to.
We might as well just say his name every week. And
top 8 the Legacy Classic with Blue White Stoneblade.
Yep. And
Jocelyn
Lombardi. She's a local gal too in Michigan.
Top 8 with Jundin, the Modern Classic.
Congrats, ma'am.
Cat Light recently moved to Michigan a couple months ago now.
Yep.
She her team top 8'd the Open, as well as Kyle Bogmus's team top 8'd the Open.
Yes, congratulations, Kat and Kyle. Good job. It's very good to see that we have such a strong player base in Michigan. Pretty happy about that.
Yeah,
and plus I'm here.
We can't have all upsides.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm usually like I said, check me out on Mom's Basement streams on Friday for those sick 05 Magic the Gathering Modern Leagues if you're interested.
I need to stream Hogak just to make up for it.
You can watch Richie play Hogak on Thursdays and watch me go Yak 05 on Fridays. But hey man, I'm pretty fun to watch, I think. I mean, like, in respects to, like, you're going to watch me enjoy losing. Whereas you can get on and watch somebody stream and, when they're losing...
They can be like a goldfish.
Yeah, or like a goldfish, and you could feel them losing. Whereas me, I don't know. I don't think you really feel me losing too much. I think I'm still in there. I get a little whiny because everybody likes to win, right? Everybody likes to win.
I like to win.
You love to win.
I'm very bad at it, though.
Yeah, you're getting there, though. You're gonna get there. All right, you guys. That's our time. We went an hour 50 minutes, so let's go on and get out of here. You guys enjoy the rest of your day, and this will be uploaded to SoundCloud in just a few minutes here, so you guys can always check that out. And again, find us. We're on YouTube. You can check out the video there in a few days. And Don't forget to come and help out Richie with his giveaway. Please retweet that.
Everyone have a great day.
Yep. See you next Monday.